Okay, GenG versus HLE. Game 1 this is the series where GenG already qualifies for Worlds, which is crazy to imagine, but let's get right into it. So just for the comp's sake, we have a Grasp Gwen versus Aurora, which sounds awful. And of course, on the opposite end, like Senna and Alistar don't really want to lane against Jin Nico, though there is a probability that they can survive it because Alistar has his passive heal, Senna has her Q heal. So they have like ways to stay in. Gwen doesn't. And so you should expect a swap. The mid jungle, of course, Annie Wukong, pretty spooky. Xin Rise, it's fine. It's not better than the other, but eventually they will win out just from like stacking HP. And let's get right into it.
With our new format, and of course, everything
hit the 3 times. I'm gonna mute it. Mostly just because it makes things easier. So they get a ward. Both sides get a ward to know where like the junglers start. Wukong's going up to his priority lane. Xin is going down to his priority lane. Everything checks out. Duro, I'm not gonna lie, probably didn't need to like take as much damage as he was taking in this situation, but okay, so be it. Again, the Gwen just not having a fun time, as you would expect. Like, already at 25%, has D shield, has a pot, has biscuits. And so this cannon wave, the 4th wave, is usually when you see these bases come through for the swap. And the Nico gets canceled. And that's going to actually be pretty bad going into this whole situation, because she's not going to be there to pressure the Aurora. So the Aurora's just going to be solo fighting the Jin, which is obviously not ideal. 2, the junglers are on opposite sides, so this guy paths down for his priority lane, and of course he's just gonna get the crab because like the enemy duo is not there, right? But my main issue with it is just that like this guy is solo top, and so now the Wukong, and now this guy's gonna feel pressured by the Wukong and Aurora, so like it's just not an ideal situation. Now the upside is that, as you're seeing this play out, of course, they still want to match the enemy duo. I mean, technically, you could have Alistar and Aurora lane together and have Senna solo bot lane, but then Aurora can kind of farm easily and she can actually pressure the Senna. So that's not ideal. You need to swap your duo back top. So, of course, Aurora's going to TP down. Like, she's going to take as much farm as she can and she's going to TP down. Okay. Now, to be honest, she should have gone her base already. And actually, this is Keen's fault. Because if Keen bases and gets his TP out and he can fight on the wave that Gwen is doing now, then this whole situation is really good. Because they can probably like pressure like Gwen enough to make her TP back. And that would be massive. They don't. So now he TPs, the wave already crashes. Jin has no mana. And technically, if you look at this wave, it's like you can pull it like out more towards this way. And maybe you could create like a freeze situation. Where the minions are now with 3 range, this is not a freeze. It's going to bounce. So, unfortunately for them, they can't really do much with that. And the Rise also, at the same time, snuck a base here. So, the Rise has a base over Annie, so Annie wants to get a base. The Wukong should still finish his Gromp. Like, he shouldn't go down and like check the drag and like get vision on the drag, whatever the case is. Like, he should still take the Gromp, and then it's because this whole part, like, I had to look over it multiple times to kind of figure out what's best. And the Senna should stay top. That, like, she should stay top for now. That's a guarantee. They should be doing a full clear and then pressure mid and at least get his flash. And then if everything looks good, you can transfer it down. And Aurora keeps her conditions. That's like the best case I can imagine. Because, and she should be like building this wave out to crash it to make Gwen feel pressure to TP. If they can freeze it, then of course, like, I mean, that also works. Like, okay, the Gwen has to crash top. So, like, either case, like, that's how it should go. But this is what GenG needs to do to fix the situation. Because this ends up really good for HLE. At least to me, it feels like it's really good for HLE. because they're getting drag, and like Ryze is not being killed or like not losing flash, not being pressured, which is great. The Aurora is under pressure now. The Gwen is still getting farm, and more importantly, she has TP. So the Gwen is keeping TP the entire time, and yeah, of course, like as you could tell in the end of the day, like maybe if Keen could have kept his conditions a little bit better instead of getting caught this way, maybe it'd be a harder dive. Of course, the Annie needed to fit her base in, but like if you look at the timing where Annie's finally fitting her base, it's kind of bad. And so technically, Chovy should not base. He should stay on the map and pressure the Ryze and just solo ulti him and just like at least stop the Ryze from joining the fight. Like kind of that's how it has to happen, because if Ryze is not here, Aurora might be able to get out or maybe buy more time. And of course, like I said, they killed like this guy top, and the grubs are coming up in 20 seconds. So you're thinking like, okay, well, I mean, they could definitely, you know, GenG could get the grubs at least from this, like how this situation turned out. Let it play, and they're like, yeah, sure, they are getting them. It's just they should get 2. It should be 2 for them and 1 for them, technically. The Xin is late because he did the Krugs. I don't know if he needed the Krugs for 6. I don't think he did, and so he should actually already be here. And they have their dual lane here, and it doesn't make sense why they're not here already. You know, for the most part. Like if I go back, let's see. Yeah, he's already 6. I don't know what he's doing. He should just take the red and be gone. That's it. Take the red base and go for grubs. Unfortunately, he's not here. And they're not, like, it's just Zeus is alone. And Zeus ends up just killing himself, which is obviously awful. And it's like a huge flip over to GenG. Because now he has to, like, he used his TP already. So that sucks. Like, that really sucks. And it means that they get to finish off. I don't know if they end up finishing. No, they couldn't finish out the last grub. But, like, that's just not great. Then Duro, like, because, of course, when this happens top, what is HLE going to do? They're going to take over the bot side. Duro just has to wait for his jungler. Like, even his AD has to catch the bot wave. Like, there's so many things that scream, don't, like, enter yet. And he does. And so he dies. Cool. Well, looks like HLE gets something back. Wukong, he's like, well, I'm just going to base. Annie, she pushes out the Jhin. Okay. Now, this is what's going to get interesting, because the Alistar shows bot. He shows bot. So your natural intuition is like, okay, they're playing into bot. It's not like the Wukong's doing a surprise play top, and yet Delight is going towards top side for vision, and Xin Zhao just completely abandons bot. And so now the Gwen, for some odd reason, finds herself getting dove again, which makes no sense, and no one's here to protect him. Like, honestly, that makes no sense there to protect him. Now, the funny thing is, GenG, you know, they have like 2 ways to think about this. Can we fight the dragon? Well, we just used Alistar ulti, Wukong ulti, probably not. So they're just trying to like push out a bunch of plates. HLE makes a return play onto them on the bot side, like, oh, well, you're kind of inting. Let's try to kill him. Canyon gets out. They lose a whole bunch of conditions. And honestly, if the idea was that they were not going to get the dragon anyways, because normally you would base to do the drag. So at least contest the drag. But they feel like they can't do that. So if you feel like you can't do that, taking the plates is not half bad. Getting out and it being really tight, not the most ideal. But Keen knows he can't hit the top turret. He's a TP bot, so he can protect the bot like wave and actually contest, and like so they're not just dropping like CS like crazy. And the bot wave bounces out, which is good for them. Duro is already set up on top side, because naturally, if you're giving up bot, you're already moving to the top. And this is something Duro does really well this game, is that he's like advancing. He's advancing to the other side very quickly, so that like while like that plays over, they're already completely set up on the other side to do something. And so Peanut walks in, he's like, "Oh shit, this guy's here. Oh shit, Alistar's here." Manages to get out, but now Xin Zhao just has a base. Like that's it. Like the play's dead for him. Gwen now again finds herself isolated on top side. And it's like, well, that's scary. All right, he had the burn R. They fish out the Annie. So be it. And now the Rise. Look at the Rise. The Rise is like, and this is again, look at Duro. Rise is like, well, I'm gonna take this wave. Duro's again advancing through onto the other side already. Like he didn't waste time. Like defending, looking to defend top or anything like that. And the second Zeka kind of ints by going for the little plate, loses his flash. It's gone. At the same time, HLE are like, well, Chovy is alone top with no flash. Surely we can get this guy. Like, he just burned Aniar too. Yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately, it did not work out. And that is really rough. And like the Jin's on base. And so like that's probably why he partially feels okay. Like the Jin's on base. And so the threat is these three. But the wave hasn't even come in yet. So going all the way around, yeah, like he just ate shit from the turret, dies. That really sucks. So they got the flash on Rise. They got a kill on top. And now they're just like progressively advancing the game, which is amazing for them. Herald comes up. Of course, GenG are first online. And the key issue we're going to have here is that the way HLE's comp plays is they need to have someone on the flank, specifically Nico or Gwen. Like, if you look at their comp, they're not front to backing. Like, you're going to literally solely depend on Xinjiao to front to back. It's just not going to work. It just won't ever work. But they don't do that. They have 4 people standing in front, and so you're going to look at this play out. Like, the Alistar goes in, knocks the Xin out so he can, like, smite contest. Aurora R comes through. There's a lot of, like, just shit in front of them, and so they want to press, right? Can't kill the Alistar, and, like, nobody can really do much. Like, in the end of the day, like, the second you walk into range, the Annie blasts you. If they had someone on the flank, as you could imagine, if someone was on the flank and they try to contest forward, oh shit, we need to keep going forward or else we're going to get screwed here. But then these guys get the backpedal, which is like ideal for them. So the Rise can just hit, the Jin can just hit while like running away, and that's really good. So yeah, this fight was not ideal, and it extends, and they end up losing 2 people. So they lost the Herald, they lost 2 people. They Herald slam, take the top turret, get damage on the top tier 2, take the mid turret. Dragon's coming up. This is the 3rd drag. Duro's already set up on bot side and getting another reset so he can refresh his vision, and so you clear that vision, he has more vision. Advance, advance, advance. And so like there's nothing they can do. Like, but like they're taking their camp's bot and they're not cross-mapping. So there's no cross-map happening on top side. Nothing is gained by HLE during this timer. That's rough. That's super, super rough. So now Otacon's the next play, right? Otacon's gonna be the next play in 1:30. We clear, clear, clear. They're getting vision on bot side. They're contesting the red. This was interesting because it's like, we find Zeka cheating the top wave, though it's not exactly cheating because Alistar is showing, but Alistar ends up TPing top. Zeka could have just, if he notices that this TP is happening, because I don't know if that's what he notices, he could have just ultied away. I don't know why he gave up his TP, but he did. And HLE, by the way, this entire time, like, even though they're getting bot side control, and, like, this is pretty ballsy by Chovy to actually cheat the bot wave. Because, like, it's putting a lot of trust that they're not going to, like, just... Like, because right now, if you look, the Gwen could have just walked. Like, straight up, the Gwen could have just walked this way if she wanted to. But they're afraid because they don't have vision in this area, and so they don't know where Wukong is. They know where Alistar is. This is a check. And they don't know where Aurora is yet, because she didn't show top yet. So they're thinking, are they trapping? Like, why is he doing this? Are they actually trapping this situation? Are we going to walk in and just get blasted? It was actually just a fake out. Like, it was just a feint. There was nothing there. So Chovy legit is, like, walking to test this. And I feel like the biggest indicator is the fact that Rise just suddenly TPs. And he's not even that Rise TPs. He's going before Rise TPs. His alerts go off because the Alistar's TPing top. I think that's why. And he starts escaping, and then they still commit towards him, only for Xinjiao to lose all of his HP. Great. So now the Aurora gets to push out top. The Sen is still pressuring mid. That's not ideal. Duro again into the bot side, getting deep vision. And this is where it's going to get rough. So they're getting vision ahead of them because they spent time going for that bot play, which failed, and jungle had to like basically like farm reset. Peanut's the only person who could face check, and so the Gwen TP's coming down. But if Gwen TP's coming down, like no one's in range to do anything with Peanut. So Peanut's just getting blasted, loses his conditions again. This is like the third or fourth time in this game already, and they do Otacon, and there's no way they can test Otacon. And then Keen, my man Keen, so like they're noticing like an engage by Alzar here. Keen's actually sitting here in fog the entire time with a ward here, and he just goes. And so again, like they're trying to enter, nope, blasted, Wukong flash, boom, that's it. Otacon's gone. So this feels super rough for HLE because they're literally, like I said, they're literally trying to do anything. They're trying to walk into anything and they just can't. GenG's always there, always pressuring. So then this next timer gets like pretty, like this is like ends up being really bad for GenG. And I'm pretty sure it's because, so I like that Wukong is doing his wolves, does his blue, he should do the crab, and they should be swinging into bot side because there's nothing available on the map besides their bot camps, and this is where you want to be. And that's the fight I want to take. I have anti-TP even. They have no TPs. Like that is like literally the best spot to fight. What happens? They're like, Ruler just over contests mid, which pulls them, and they're fighting on top side, which is the least ideal situation for them. And then people kind of just start dying left and right, and so HLE just suddenly has 4 kills. Like that should just not happen, but like it did. They got 4 kills. So you're thinking, okay, well HLE are back in the game. Like they just got a whole bunch of picks. I have no idea why Ruler's even there. I don't know why they're trying to press into top jungle when Annie has TP and Aurora is the one who's bot side. That makes no sense. And that's like one of their big errors in this game. This guy ends up having to flash away, which, yeah, it sucks. Like, Zeus is just kind of been in a bad position the entire time. Duro just messing around with them. Because Drag is coming up, right? So Duro is like sneaking around. Like, these guys haven't had Nico come into this situation yet. And I think it's honestly Delight's fault. Looking at this, because Delight's trying to save Gwen in case that like something happens, but ideally Gwen would be in bot side to advance the game, so he's kind of getting a little too, he's getting baited out to try to help someone versus just again advancing the map the way Duro is, which creates situation bot. And then Jhin abandoned the wave, and they know this, and it's like doesn't have flash, kind of Viper's fault. So Viper just dies for free. They lose the dragon. For some odd reason, for whatever reason, the Gwen is like cheating the next wave to kill herself. Okay, I guess. Like, I don't really get it, but for some odd reason, Zeus is just having an awful game. We advance. And this one was kind of funny because like these guys are trapping here. Jhin can't really join them. Gwen is dead with no TP. Everything is screaming, "Don't do this play" for HLE, and they know Nico has no flash, and they actually end up catching her. Like they actually catch her in that situation. Ryze gets like blasted. They take the Baron because the Baron's super easy to take in that situation, right? Then we advance to like pressuring with Baron. Senna's literally doing, I think, looks like blue or something. This guy just walks up, eats ass, happens. You know, it's just how the any champ is. You have to find a play, but the Ryze is in base, so you don't go now. And this is the weirdest thing. Like HLE's timing on some of their plays is just awful. Like, it's actually just awful for a lot of the timings that they're going for, and it just blows up in their face. And they just lose the game. Like, they went for a play, and they lost the game. It wasn't even like an even number fight where like something good could happen. They just die. And that's the game. That's how GenG won. And a lot of it, again, comes from, I think they played the swap at first better. Then they didn't do a mid gank, which did not give them good leverage on the map. but then they get to do grubs. But then HLE improperly contests it. And I think the big thing is just that HLE's like idea of like number advantage, disadvantage was what killed them in the end. Like that really just ruined them. GenG were just, and I'll be honest, honestly, I'm going to put Duro as the MVP because I think this guy was just everywhere and doing like so much good stuff throughout the entire game. He really was like the guy. The worst player of the game, it is kind of Delight. It's like Delight, and it's also like, and don't get me wrong, like Peanut, like Zayas was having a bad game, and he did some things that were pretty egregious. But like Delight and Peanut just got completely gapped, like completely overtaken, and that was a big reason why this game felt so awful. And yeah, I mean that's GenG versus HLE, guys. The first game. I don't know how the second game goes, but yeah, it's HLE does not look good.